Hello friends, welcome to my studio. I'm David Miller. My studio is Primordial Creative. I'm a multimedia artist in Phoenix. I'm also an educator. I have spent the last year or so talking to you guys about instant film cameras. I've been picking up cameras secondhand. I've been trying them out, trying to make art out of them, presenting you with the art, telling you how good the cameras are. I want to talk to you today about two Polaroid cameras that are incredibly similar, but vastly different in my own personal experience. One is the Polaroid One Step 2, and the other is the Polaroid One Step Plus. They are both in the $100 range. The One Step Plus, I got mine for $130. I think my One Step 2 I got secondhand for $80, but they're about $100. So it's like a $20, $30 price difference between the two of them. They both take I-type film, 600 film, and if you don't know what those are, 600 film is the classic Polaroid film. It has a battery in it, goes in Polaroid 600 cameras. They did not have batteries. I-type film only goes in these current one-step style cameras, and the reason why they're unique to that is they are both USB charged. So if you pick up a camera in a vintage store, you cannot use the I-type film in it. If you have a One Step 2 or a One Step Plus, you can pick up this I-type film. It retails something like $3 cheaper, but if you don't have access to I-type film or you come across a deal of 600 film, you can use that in these new cameras as well. It doesn't matter if there's a battery inside the 600 film pack. Now, the main difference between these two cameras is that One Step Plus has Bluetooth capability and connects to the Polaroid app on your smartphone. This means you can do things like double exposure, light painting, a sound trigger, you can use remote control, you can use a self-timer, all through the remote control of your smartphone. One Step 2, bare bones, no special effects. For me as an artist, if I had known this from the start, which I didn't, I would not have even bothered with the One Step 2. But if you're not an artist and you're a regular person, you might say to yourself, David, I don't care about all that stuff. I really do want just bare bones things. Should I bother with the $30 extra for the One Step Plus? So let me tell you right away, if you are weighing the options, One Step 2, One Step Plus, absolutely spend the extra money for the One Step Plus. The main reason I am telling you to go for the One Step Plus is that Bluetooth remote control solves the biggest flaw I found on my One Step 2, which is that the buttons on the camera I had were borderline non-functional. So I have a fully charged One Step 2. I'm standing there trying to do shoots. I'm trying to push my shutter button. I would have to push this thing 10 times to get it to go off. It's not a problem with it having a low charge. And I looked on Amazon reviews, I saw tons of people who had the same exact problem, that pushing the button one time did not make the camera go off. They'd have to go over and over and over. And whether you're doing family photos or animals or you're shooting professional models, that decisive moment is when you intend to push the button. And if nothing happens in that moment, then you are really kneecapping your photography. You are really taking away from any kind of spontaneity of the moment. Also, I hate to say it, but you look really foolish when you stand there and you're like click, 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 and nothing's happening. The confidence level of your subjects is dependent on their belief that you can take a picture, that you can make a photograph. And when your gear fails and you go, oh, I'm sorry, it's the gear and stuff, they aren't thinking stupid Polaroid Corporation. They're thinking, you know, this photographer doesn't know what he's doing. He's probably making a mistake and blaming the gear. And it just becomes something that you don't want to introduce into your shooting environments. Also, if you want the flash off on these cameras, there is a button on the back of the camera that you need to depress with your thumb. And it's so easy to forget to do that. There is no like literal flash off button on the camera that you can just default it's off. It's always going to go off unless you hold that button down with your thumb. And I can think of a lot of shooting environments where I'm waving the camera around and I'm not able to access the shutter and that flash off button. Plenty of shooting environments around Arizona where we have 300 days of super bright sunshine that I don't want a flash to go off. I want to work with the natural light. The smartphone app that I use on my Polaroid One Step Plus addresses all of this stuff. I have not had it once not connect via Bluetooth. I have not once had it not take a picture when I push the remote control. I have not yet once had a problem where the flash went off and I didn't want it to, because turning the flash off and having it stay off is a function within this Polaroid app. 20-30 bucks is not a huge amount of difference as far as purchasing a camera, but if you want something that is 100% modern and reliable, Polaroid One Step Plus. Also, for that $20-30 difference, you are getting access to the sound trigger, double exposure, light painting. These are really cool effects. I'll talk about them one at a time in my future videos. But I know for me, being able to have this expanded creative palette is an incredibly big deal. And if you've never tried any of these things, by all means, go ahead and try it. I-type film is slightly cheaper than the 600 film. You can afford to be more experimental in your work. If you want something that's bare bones and basic, you can actually get a Polaroid 600 camera for $20-30 at your secondhand store, and maybe it doesn't have a flash that goes off, but it's going to be as reliable as this expensive One Step 2.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more creative tutorials, gear reviews and video art. Also check out our Patreon for weekly bonus videos and model photography sets.